Hey, welcome to Youthology Live, and thank you for joining us for another episode on youth leadership. Every week we bring to you a topic in this area, and this week is no different. This week we are talking about youth and politics. Okay, that's right, don't change the channel. Youth and politics. Why? It's significant. I'm going to bring to you some stats from National Public Radio, from PBS, right, Public Broadcasting System, and from Barna. And this is not just opinion. I'm going to bring to you some facts. Okay, so let's begin here. Why the youth vote? Why is this so significant? Well, 31% of the electorate in America is made up of young people, the Millennials and the Gen Z set. That's right, 31% of voters. And as a matter of fact, it's the largest of any generational set. More than grandma and grandpa, more than mom and dad. The millennial and the Gen Z vote is 31% of the electorate. The problem is only about 19% of the potential of them are voting. And here's another statistic. In 2012 to 2016, the largest generational set that had growth, the largest growth in a generational set that voted was, that's right, the millennial and the Gen Z set. It wasn't mom and dad, and it wasn't grandma and grandpa. Just over 1% growth from 2012 to 2016 in the youth vote. Significant. What if they grew 2%, 5% between 2016 and 2020? What a significant vote. And honestly, I think because of the condition of society and everything that's going on, all of the issues that are going on, I believe that they are poised to blow that out of the water. I think more young people are going to be voting in 2020 than we've ever seen before. That's right. Let me tell you why. Because listen, some things are important to them. The pandemic that's going on and healthcare, gun control, school safety, mental health. Okay, these are all topics that are important to them. Integrity, okay, the integrity, honesty. When you look at issues, specific issues, you can get into the sanctity of life. Okay, these are all key issues, but these are not just issues to young people, they're principles also. Okay, when you talk about honesty, and listen, I know we are not voting in a pastor-in-chief. I get that. Because you will look at one candidate and see the strengths and the weaknesses of that candidate. And another set of you, about half and half in our country is about what happens, right? Another half of you will look at another candidate and see the strengths and the weaknesses of that candidate. And so it's not simply about finding the person who's going to become the pastor-in-chief of America. I get that. But hear me, integrity and honesty is critical to the millennial and the Gen Z vote. As a matter of fact, you can see some of that in the statistics that we've seen. I want you to think about this PBS poll that just came out in September. They did some research. They had a town hall with young people. And the top issues for them, I mentioned a couple of those just in passing, but the top issues for them were the pandemic, the sanctity of life, gun control, and foreign policy, terror, right? The global story, I like to call it. Because young people, millennials and Gen Z, are more connected globally than they've ever been. And so that terror notification comes, right? And the bad news comes on their notifications because they're holding the world globally in their hand, right? So just, some of those key issues. And so if a platform on the right or the left or the conservative or the progressive platform is going to define issues, those are the important issues. Now, let me say this. I think there's some important things that the Bible has to say about this also. When I look at the text in Romans chapter 13, okay, Paul had something very prophetic to say about what we are going through right now. I think that we have to submit to two people. As young people, we have to submit to our authority that would be called government our authorities that are man, and then we have to submit to God also. So listen to this, it's really good. This is Romans chapter 13 and verse 1. Let every soul, that's all of us, okay, be subject to the governing authorities. That's man, okay? For there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist have been appointed by him. Therefore, whoever resists the authority of man resists the ordinance of God himself, and those who resist will bring judgment upon themselves. What a word! What a word! But listen, he's not finished. For rulers are not a terror, right? Our rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil, right? Do you want to be unafraid of authority? Then do what is good. This is powerful. Listen, do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. Listen, God sets up this governing principle. Okay, whether you call that political science, right, or spiritual and natural authority, however you want to say that, God sets it up through us. Okay, when we vote, when we move as a people, when we act in a responsible way as a people. And so I want to do with that fear thing, because here's two simple things for this post, okay, this blog: fear and faith. And so many of us are ruled by fear right now, aren't we? The pandemic is bringing the fear. The global issues and global terror is bringing the fear. Job insecurity, right? Your home is falling apart. Mom and dad lost the job and they couldn't get it back, or right, we're living off, we can't even pay the bills. So all of these things have created this mental health and this fear in our society. And yet what Paul's saying is, listen, if you look simply at man, then the fear is going to grow. That's what he was saying. If you simply look at man and you don't recognize the supernatural in leadership, God, then that's called fear. But God wants us not to walk or vote or live in fear. He wants us to walk or vote or live in faith, right? It's simple. And so this is what I'm asking you to do. In the next few weeks, 3 weeks, like from today, right? Maybe some of you have already voted early. Maybe some of you are getting a ballot and you're going to vote from the office, or you're going to vote from home. Maybe some of you are going to be voting from a church or a hall or a school down the road. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Put the fear aside and vote in faith. That's right. Some of these issues we talked about, vote the issues. Don't just look at the person. If you'll vote the issues, then that person will be placed where that platform, right? That principle is not, you're not just voting for a person, you're voting for a principle. Did you catch that? And when you vote for these principles, then what happens is you place a platform in control here, and then God begins to work through political science, okay? And through the natural. But hear me, you have to place the fear aside and put the principle in front. And then finally, that last area in Romans 13, Paul is challenging us. Hear me, in this last area, Paul is saying, okay, faith, not fear. And so what you have to do is you have to honestly take a look at everything that is going on in your life right now, okay? Everything that is going on, and choose faith over fear. Because hear me, it might look like it's out of control, but God is playing chess while we are playing checkers. That's true. We do this, we make this move, but God is a move out. He's working on this. He's out in front of us, setting things up. So listen, choose faith over fear. And then I think that when you walk into this voting thing and you walk through all of the noise that's going on, okay, when you walk through all of the noise that's going on in the next few weeks, okay, all of the, you know what I'm talking about when we talk about noise. If you can just discern through that, and if you can do problem solving through that, and if you can do, doing critical thinking versus thinking critical, okay? So important when we're talking about politics. Critical thinking, but not thinking critical. Okay, I think you'll be able to salvage these next few weeks. Okay, faith over fear, principles, okay, over a person. Principles over a person, because the principles will put the platform in charge. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Okay, hey, next week we're gonna deal with this again. So please join us. All you gotta do, go to the socials, go to the link tree, and in the link tree, you can watch us on YouTube, you can listen to us on the iTunes channel, or you can read this manuscript that will be on youthology.com, YTHOLOGY.com. Okay, would you please have a great week? Okay, faith over fear, okay, and principles over people. All right, we got this. Hey, bless you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week on Youthology Live.